Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. This is my Finish It Friday video for Friday, July 14th, 2023. So if you want to see what I've been working on this week, please stay tuned. I am so excited to share all of my accomplishments for the week. There's been a lot of work done in the sewing room. So let's get started with what I've been working on. I got the shirts for this commission quilt that I'm going to be doing, and I've planned it out and I've started cutting up the shirts. So there are 22 shirts that I'm going to be working with, and some of them are larger, or they have like a larger print, and I'll show you a couple of these here. So I'm going to be doing part of them as like a feature block. So it's going to be just a little panel of these with that says stay positive, a panel with a border around it. So here's another one, and a third one. Okay, these are just a few of the shirts. I'm still in the process of cutting them up so that these parts can be placed in panels. This is another one that I cut up, and then this one is another one that says Clark Atlanta University, and then here is a football jersey. So these will be going in, and I'm going to be making 15 feature blocks, and so I'm using the panels from these, and I'm taking some of the other shirts and using them as a border or some kind of sashing around those blocks. So the quilt is going to be a queen size quilt, but it's going to be 30 blocks, 5x6, and each one of those blocks is going to be hopefully 18 inches finished. So I'll be making these panels first, probably with the interfacing and all that, and they will be at 18.5, so that when I stitch them into the quilt, they'll hopefully finish at 18. Now for the other shirts, and even some of these, I'm going to create some blocks, and I went through my block a day book, and once I realized that I was going to do the 30 blocks and then 15 and 15, I decided that I wanted to use like a chain style block. So this is the block that I'm going to be doing, the Jacob's Ladder block. It's going to be start with like a foundation of smaller 3-inch squares, and then it's going to start with 7.5-inch squares to make these half square triangles. I haven't decided if I'm going to use just 2 fabrics in these blocks or 3 like it's pictured. I'm still thinking about that, and I want to get these other blocks made first before I start. But my hope is that when I use this block and I alternate it, that it's going to make this really interesting chain effect going down the quilt. So hopefully like diagonal these and then diagonal these. So I'm hoping that that is what comes out. I think it's going to be really nice, and there's such a wide variety of shirts that I think I can get enough neutrals and enough accent colors to make this work. So that's the goal with that, starting with getting those the feature blocks done, and then adding the other ones. So that's going to be my main project from this point forward. Right now I want to share with you the other 2 projects which I've been working on, the quilt back and the t-shirt quilt. So here you go. Let me show you where I am on my t-shirt quilt that's on the long arm. This is the pattern. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it there. And I'm currently using a pantograph. This pantograph is called Popcorn, and it is actually back there. I'm quilting from behind the long arm because it's a pantograph, and I'm really almost done with this. Take a look at the get a good look at the stitches on the back. They actually look good. I have a couple clips that I'm going to show you. One of me actually quilting, but before that I think I'll show you the mess up where I caught it, but I didn't catch it until the next day. But you'll get to see what it looks like the tension issue, whatever that I had. And I did go back and fix it, but you get to see that first. And then, or no, I don't know. It'll either be one or the other. There's a clip of me quilting, and then a clip of the stitches underneath where there was a tension issue. But you can see that I'm almost done. This is the bottom border here. Really happy with this process. It was not nearly as hard as I thought it would be, even though there are some challenges. Here I have where I kind of did set my laser light. It was, when I first started, it worked, but by this point in the quilt, and actually very soon, I saw that my quilt was not, I guess, fully square. I don't know, but on both sides, there's about the same amount of overhang with my quilting, and I just kind of let it go. I didn't bother resetting the tape or anything. Maybe next time I'll be able to be a little bit better at that, but that is kind of what happened this time. Hopefully next week on the Finish It Friday video, I will have this off of the long arm, and we can be working on the binding. Then I can show you the whole thing all finished. So, but really exciting. I'm so happy that I got to use a pantograph for the first time. I ordered a few more pantographs that I can try out for some upcoming projects. But this one, the popcorn one, I thought it was pretty nice, and it looks good on this quilt. And I have flannel in the sashing and borders here, and also on the back. So it looks good. And there's also, this fabric is also going to be the border as well. I mean, not the border, the binding. Okay, so hopefully next week we'll have this done and you can see it all completed. All right, I want to share this little bit. I'm under the quilt right now, and this is the last row that I stitched yesterday. And you probably can see, especially if you look right there, there are some major tension issues. I think that I made one minor adjustment and tightened the top tension maybe, and I didn't check the stitches. So this last row that I did, the whole row looks like this. And even though this quilt is more for me than for anybody else, I'm going to take the stitches out and retry this row. So it looks like I don't even know where to start. I may just pull the whole row out and start over here and just see if that fixes it. But I went back and I put the tension back where it had been, and so hopefully I can get this row right. On the last quilt that I did, or on my on the Alphabet quilt, I did not take the stitches out. I just kind of let them be. But on this one, I'm just going to practice it and see if it helps when I go back and restitch. So let's just see what happens. Take a look at the quilt back. I am very excited about it. It looks so good. I think that on camera, it doesn't really do it justice. This wine color is, I don't know, it doesn't, to me, it looks darker on camera than it is in real life, but it doesn't matter. I have the entire center section stitched. You can see that there. There's a little bit of overhang with this last piece. I'll touch with my finger here. There's a little bit of overhang there, and I'm gonna leave it for now because I've stitched it to the top skinny piece. Now I have to stitch it to this bottom piece, and I'll cut that off at the end when I have all of that done. That way I can have a reasonable measurement to finish out the top portion and the bottom portion here. I have the you can see the wrong side of the top of the quilt there. The other pieces are stitched together, but they're down on the sewing machine right now. I'm going to be bringing them up so that I can stitch them to that last piece, and then frame that out with more of this fabric. And then the same for the bottom. The bottom is already stitched together, this whole panel. I just need to put the side portions and then finish it out at the bottom. But this quilt is so cool, this quilt back, and I'm just ready to see it all together, hopefully next week. But again, I'm only doing like 25 minutes a day, so we'll just see how far it gets. But I'm really happy with that middle section. It looks like little photographs. I just think it's so cute. So just ready to see that whole thing once everything is put together. I am so excited about that quilt back. It is coming along very nicely. I love that center panel, and I'm excited about putting that together and working on the outside. I am concerned that I don't have enough of the background fabric, and so I ordered some online. I have the postcard. I was looking for the envelope that the fabric came in, but I can't find it, and I'm filming, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I ordered this fabric from homespunhearth.com. I'm going to put it here in the video, but also here is the card that came with my order. So you can see it down there in the corner. It says homespunhearth.com, and it's a shop in Colorado. And what I like is they had a lot of discontinued fabrics, and so I ordered just a few things. Once I look at fabric, I don't just get one piece, I get a couple pieces. So I want to show you quickly what I ordered from them. I'll start with the background for my quilt that I'm working on. It's actually from a line called Shadowland, and this color is called Wine. So I'm really happy. I like this fabric a lot, and I have some. I just wasn't sure if I had enough to finish the quilt back. My binding is also going to be out of this fabric, and I already made the binding. So I just went ahead and ordered 2 yards of this just to be sure that I had enough. I think when I'm done, I'm going to have a fair amount of this left over. But it is a pretty fabric, and I'm sure I'll find something else to do with it. Okay, so another, they had a lot of this Shadowlands line, and so I purchased another fabric from the line. I might go up close on this one. This one is I don't know if it's a black or if they called it black or gray, but again, it's from the Shadowland line. And it's nice. It's a nice, I guess like a blender fabric. So it could be a background, or it could be just a blender, and I know I can find some use for this. Another one that I got, I only got 1 yard of this one. Another one that I got, the line is called Ivory Kitchen, and I like it because it has some cooking words on it, or some food words like chocolate, patisserie, bon appetit, tea, all of that. And I think this is going to be a nice background fabric in a quilt at some point. And then the last one, it was like a closeout, and you had to get at least 2 yards of it, but I think it was like $3 a yard, but the minimum order was 2 yards, and so I went ahead and got this. If you follow my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of bluish greenish fabrics, and so when I saw this one, I really liked it. The line is called Terrarium, and I just like that it's a nice monochromatic kind of tone, and it will blend nicely in a quilt. So I got all 4 of these fabrics. I was just happy that I could get the Shadowland. When I bought it, it was a couple years ago, and so I didn't know if it would still be available. So I was glad I went to Homespun Hearth and picked up these fabrics. So just really excited that I could get these, and excited to get that quilt back, hopefully finished soon. I was going to wait and share this next week, but I finished the t-shirt quilt today. I finished quilting it, and so I'm going to share it today. You can see the quilt here. I'll kind of zoom in a little bit so that you can see the quilting. It looks pretty good. On camera, it looks a little bit better, I think. I guess because I'm so close to it, I can see the big contrast in some of these blocks. Let me show you the thread that I used to quilt it. It's this one. It's blues, and it's called Denim. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a variegated blue thread, and so that's why it's pretty vivid. On some of these blocks, it looks pretty dark. So if we zoom in here, you can see the quilting. This pattern is called Popcorn, and it is from a pantograph. Okay, so you can see some of the blocks. Let's see, if we look right here, I don't know how close we can get in, but this is where I ended up doing the seam ripping. So I'm not sure if you can see that there are multiple stitch rows, like right in there, there are a couple stitch rows or stitch lines. You can see them really good right in here. And then even over here, because I had to take that whole row out and restitch it. But I think it was worthwhile to do that. There's only one big place that I didn't take out the stitches. I'll show you right here. Because this wasn't a tension issue, it was a pay attention issue. Right in here, I started stitching the wrong way. And so there's like 3 sets of stitches because I went one way, and then I had to backtrack and then backtrack again to go back the right way. But I left it in there as kind of a little humble block, or I don't know, something like that. Let me show you the edges of these. I talked about this earlier, but I went quite a ways out on the sides to make sure I had the quilt covered. And I think I went too far, but that'll be a learning lesson for next time. In this top, you can't even really see it, so I'm not going to really stress about it. But I didn't go off of the quilt at all, so my traveling lines are actually in the border, but you can't see it. Here on the side, it's the same. And then at the very bottom, there are a few places where it flipped up, but I'm just going to measure and see how much I can cut off so that we don't get those flipped up edges. But it's very cool. It looks really nice. As I said before, the flannel is the sashing and the borders, and then my backing is also flannel. So let's look at the back. I don't know how much quilting we're gonna see, but I'll get kind of close here. You can really only see the light part of that variegated thread, but it's still pretty good. I'm overall happy with the tension. Where I had tension issues, I did go ahead and take those out and redo them. There's still a few little knots of thread. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can see one here. Just a few little knots of thread every once in a while. So I have to go on the back and take out the those parts. But I'm really happy with this, ready to cut off that extra batting and backing and get this bound. The binding is actually the same fabric as this. This is a 108 flannel that I picked up at Joann's. So it's really It really suits this quilt nicely, so I'm happy that I went with it. And like I said, the binding is going to be that same fabric. So here we go. One more last good peek. I'm so proud of this quilt, and I can't wait to see what goes on the long arm next. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I am super excited that I could share that I finished quilting that t-shirt quilt. It looks so great. I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to do on that, and I can't wait to see it completed with the binding and everything on it. The binding is right here. If I had really been thinking about it, I would have made a flange binding so it would be easier, but I just didn't think about it. I just made it out of this one piece. But the good news is that it was 108, so I only needed 3 strips, which made this binding really easy to make. I will just have to cut off the excess of that, the excess batting and backing, put this on the front, flip it over, but it'll get done at some point. Again, my major project is going to be this, working on this quilt. The only thing, if there was something that I was not as excited about, is that I looked at the date that I have to go back to school, and it's just in a couple weeks. So I am going to be working on getting as much done as I can until that time, especially with this quilt, because it is a commission. So I want it to go out as soon as I can get it done. But you know, just working as hard as I can to get that done, get everything finished, and try to come up with some kind of schedule. Now that I've started with this long arm, I sort of want to do it every day. So coming up with a schedule where I can work on that and just figuring out how to put all that together. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much to those of you who are commenting and giving these videos a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and join my channel. I'd love to have you. Let me know what you're working on in the comments, what you're excited about. I'm just happy that I can work in my room and that I've learned a new skill, a couple new skills on this long arm. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!